just being able to deal day by day um, with your strength, with your endurance, because single parenthood, it can come with any obstacles, and it's just you to tackle it. Um, so it's just really, like I said, the word I guess for today would be endurance. I'm Sister Naomi. I'm from Syracuse, New York, part of the Church of God in Christ, the New York Central District, here in Syracuse, New York. Okay, so this was something that was to be inspirational for my nieces. My niece was going through a unique situation where she was the only female of color, and I can definitely relate to that. So I published the book particularly for her, so that she can be encouraged and she can be able to. She didn't want to be here anymore, so that she could stay, she could live, she could be encouraged and know that she is a great woman or young woman. So that was just something to Titus 2 and 4 is to train up or to teach the young women um, to love their husbands and their children. And that's really was just to teach her to love, to start with the first step of love. And that's from self-love and self-care. So that was something that I started for my niece. This was a poem that I created about 15 years ago, and it was for myself. It was to encourage myself in the Lord. Um, so I was dealing with something unique, like with my niece. I just got a promotion. I was the only African American. I was the only female, and it was challenging. So I needed to know that I had value. I have, that self-love, and I can bring something to the table. So this was a poem that I recited for 3 years in the mirror, and it definitely encouraged me. So I created the book to help other women overcome obstacles, overcome situations, and know that you can encourage yourself in the Lord. They're not respecting your no. They're not respecting your space. They're not respecting you as a person. And this book will help an individual gain that strength, identify some things in their lives that they are good at and some things in their lives where they can be successful and things like that. So dealing with abuse, what do I need to do to get over the situation? What do I need to do to get through this and get past this abuse? I wrote the book. It was for me. I was dealing with abuse. It was for like 15 years because I chose not to marry. And all I heard was just, you're not this, you're not that. Um, but these words were very strengthening to me um, because it just identified what I did, what I do, and who I was as a person. So it's just really being able to um, endure when you feel that you can't endure. That was a long journey. It was, like I said, about 15 years of stalking. I'm just recently free, like 1 year free of no stalking or anything. Um, how I got through, like I said, I read the book, I read the poem in the mirror, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I gained strength from the words that I spoke into myself. Just woman, oh woman, where are you? Woman, oh woman, you know you're true. So whatever they said to say, I'm not this, I'm not that, this was a rebuttal. It was a um, something to come back at what those words were that they were saying to me. Um, well, with them, it was just no judgment. It was a judgment-free zone, and um, just really being able to still move in the church and do in the church and teach in the church and do those things that I used to do. Um, I wasn't like a castaway. I wasn't set aside. My story was, it seemed like it was believed, my side of the story. Um, it was definitely something that God spoke into my life for sure. Um, and the Holy Spirit just said, woman of virtue, where are you? Um, and that was just um, encouraging to me because I was lost in the place. Okay, is this guy going to kill me? Is this guy going to um, do something to my child? It was just so many racing thoughts. And just the community of encouragement was definitely very important and very comforting. But just to know that God is like, hey girl, where you at? Let's get this together.
Yeah.
So it was definitely, you're that woman of virtue. You stand in that, you walk in that. Not only do you walk in that, write down what you do to see if you walk in that virtue. Um, so it was definitely, the Holy Spirit did speak. I was at the kitchen table eating breakfast, and it was just, where are you? Like, where have you gone? Where have you been? Um, let's get back to Naomi. Let's get back to who you know that you are in the Lord. It's just endurance. I'm recently new at empty nesting. My son just moved out. He's 21. He's a barber. He's working for the city. He's doing great things. So it's just really the time that you have as a single parent doing it alone. I was just recently on a website, and I seen a young girl who was saying that her kid's father is a deadbeat. I think taking that time to express that, I don't think that's something that you should do, but it's just being able to, and like I said, endurance, being able to go through each day knowing that you are a special person, knowing that you have value, knowing that you are a good person, and just being able to raise those children and up in the Lord, train up a child. It says, in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. And it's definitely true. Like with my son, he's like, Ma, I was getting weary or whatever the case was. And I turned on the TV and I was watching the Sunday service, and it was definitely inspirational. So, what I would say to mothers that are raising their children alone is to hold on, stay encouraged, and know that, the children, they do grow up, they get older, and what you put in them is going to stick with them. The word is true, so just being able to deal day by day um, with your strength, with your endurance, because single parenthood, it can come with any obstacles, and it's just you to tackle it. Um, so it's just really, like I said, the word, I guess, for today would be endurance. This is a program to reach out to mothers dealing with sons that don't have the fathers in the home. So my son, I had my father, but my son did not have his father. Growing up, we broke up when I was about 4 months pregnant, and I decided, like, I'm gonna, live for the Lord. I'm gonna do the right thing and do what the Lord is telling me to do. Um, so with that, I would say um, I've been there. I understand, and I know what you're going through. Um, So again, just being able to, a lot of things that I did was to stay encouraged was journaling. I journaled a lot. I went back and I looked at my journal and I looked at the things that God has helped me overcome. So this week, okay, let me write down something. Next week, let me look back at my past writings and see what God has changed, what God has done, what God is doing, and what God can do for me. So whether, okay, you don't have a father, but you can get into programs where there are men that are mentoring young men. You may be in an abusive situation, but pray about that thing. How can you leave that situation in a safe way? If you're a mom, a single mom, just staying encouraged and knowing that each day is a different age and stage, because every child comes with ages and stages, and they grow up, they grow out, and they will hold on to what you're teaching them to do if you have the good teachings of the Lord.
Yes.
And like just staying encouraged and finding a way to encourage yourself in the Lord.
Hello, Super Kids, and welcome to Super Saturday. I hope that you are enjoying your summer. I am super excited that you are here with us today. Today, you're going to hear an amazing Bible story. You're going to see Make You Laugh Marcus, and you're going to see other super kids just like you. So are you ready to get started? Let's go.
Hello, Sunshine Bear! Are you ready to laugh? Okay. Why did the strawberry cry?
Why?
Because the parents were stuck in a jam. See you later. Bye.
Pretty soon, it's going to be time for most of you to go back to school. What does that mean? Well, it means getting up in the morning, going to school, having to do your spelling or spelling test, math, social studies, history, language arts, all of that stuff. And it's going to require for you to focus if you're going to get a good grade, right? Well, sometimes when you're in school and you're trying to do a really good job on an assignment, guess what happens? A distraction comes. What are distractions? Distractions are things to get you off focus. So if you're studying really hard for a math test, or you're studying really hard for your history test, a distraction would be something like a brother or a sister coming into the room and interrupting you while you're trying to study. Or a distraction would be getting an invitation to come outside and play when you're trying to focus. Maybe you need to study all weekend for a big test. And a distraction could be that someone invites you to come to their birthday party. All of those things can be a distraction. Get you off focus from doing or accomplishing what you're trying to do or accomplish. Well, guess what? Today I have a Bible story about one of Jesus's disciples who got distracted. Are you ready to hear the story? Let's get started. Today's story is found from Matthew, the 14th chapter, beginning at the 22nd verse. Jesus had just heard the bad news about John the Baptist, his cousin, who had been killed. His head had been cut off. So when Jesus got the news about his cousin John the Baptist being killed, he got into a boat or a ship and he went somewhere far away or into a distant place. He probably wanted to be alone. He probably wasn't feeling that happy about hearing that his cousin had died. Once he got there, the people heard that he was there. And so they started coming around, following him all throughout the city. Jesus saw the multitude. Multitude means there was a lot of people. When he saw them, he had compassion toward them, and he started to heal the sick. So when it became evening, his disciples said, "Okay, Jesus, it's getting late. Let's send these people home." And Jesus said, "No, we can't send them home yet. They've been here with us all day. We've got to give them something to eat." So Jesus fed them. He fed them with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. Well, that's not the story that I'm going to tell you about today. I want to tell you what happened after Jesus performed the miracle and he fed the thousands of people with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. After everyone ate, Jesus told his disciples to get in the ship and go to the other side of the sea. He was going to join them later. After Jesus had sent all the multitude, all the thousands of people away, he sent them home. Jesus went into a mountain to pray. Remember, the disciples are on the ship and they're going to the other side because that's what Jesus told them to do. But guess what happened? While they were on the ship and they're going to the other side, a storm comes and the waters are splashing all over the place and rocking the boat, and the water is going inside of the boat. So while all of that is happening, Jesus walks on the water to where the ship is. Now that's amazing, because I just told you water is going everywhere. There's a storm and the waters are not calm. They're going everywhere and the wind is blowing everywhere. And Jesus is walking on the water. And when the disciples saw Jesus, they were terrified. They were afraid because they thought Jesus was a ghost. And Jesus said right away, "Be of good cheer. It's me. You don't have to be afraid." And Peter, when he heard that, he said to Jesus, "Well, Lord, if it's you, let me come out there on the water also." And guess what Jesus said? Jesus said, "Come on." And Peter got out of the boat. Remember what's happening. Remember, there's a storm going on. Normally people are trying to be safe, right? But Peter got out of the boat and Peter walked on the water and started walking towards Jesus. But he got distracted. Peter stopped looking at Jesus and he started looking around at the wind blowing everywhere. He started looking around at the waters going everywhere. And when he took his eyes off Jesus and became distracted, he began to sink in the water. And Peter cried out, "Lord, save me!" And immediately Jesus took his hand and helped Peter up, and they both got in the boat. So see, Peter got distracted. He was doing fine. He was walking on water just like Jesus. Can you walk on water? No. Can I walk on water? No. When you go into a lake or a sea or a pool, you don't walk on top of the water, do you? So Peter was doing just fine, but he got distracted. And when he got distracted, he began to sink. So what are we to learn from that? See, there's a distraction. The wind is blowing. I'm outside and there's a plant hanging here and it just blew into the camera. It's a distraction from me trying to tell my story, right? So I can't get off focus, right? I can't forget what I'm supposed to be doing because I have to tell you how important it is for you not to become distracted. When you go back to school and you're studying for a test, or you go back to school and you've made up in your mind that you're going to go to school and you're going to have a good attitude all year long. I'm going to listen to my teachers. I'm going to obey and follow the instructions. You've got that in mind. Don't be distracted because the enemy is going to try to distract you. He's going to give you an opportunity to disobey. He's going to give you the opportunity to not follow the instructions. He's going to present an opportunity for you not to study hard for your test. Don't be distracted. Stay focused, and you'll be able to accomplish great things this school year. I believe in you. I know you can do it because with God's superpower, He gives you the ability to do what you need to do. Don't you remember what Philippians 4:13 says? I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. That's the superpower that you need to stay focused.
Let your light shine before others so they can see the good things you do and praise your Father who is in heaven. Matthew 5:16. You ask, how can we let our light shine? Your light can shine not saying a word. It can speak highly, not being heard. The light of your smile can brighten a day. The light of your touch can help show the way. So remember, you don't have to say a word of any kind. Just let the light of Jesus in, and His love you will find.